What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we're going to take a look at the COLA projections for 2025. So we're going to focus on, I want to talk about 5 things when it comes to 5 facts about Social Security and the COLA increase. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter and Threads, you can at the TEC Show Live. Okay, so let's go ahead. I want to get over to my illustration here, and I want to show you guys when it comes to COLA, the projection for 2025. First off, the Senior Citizens League every year, they start doing projections, and they start about now. Actually, I think they had a few more, maybe 1 or 2 more projections that they've posted, but they will continue to do projections, and then they'll let us, and then I will let you guys know, because usually I will be following the cost of living adjustment, the calculations, and then I'll let you guys know in October what that is. So October is the official announcement date, but generally we have a good idea. Early October, we'll have a good idea of what COLA will look like for 2025. So let's go ahead. I want to take a look at some of the information that we have so far. So the new projection, Social Security benefits are projected to increase by, right here, 2.6%. Now, the reason why we're looking at a 2.6 projection, it's actually increased a little bit. That's because of the latest numbers when it comes to COLA. So by 2.6% in 2025, according to the Senior Citizens League, despite inflation rates peaking at 3.5% in March, the highest in 7 months. And so what we're seeing now is we're actually seeing inflation start to rise again. So we saw inflation go down, and it went down around 3%, but now it's slowly starting to uptick. And it went to 3.2%. Now it's gone up to 3.5%. And so that is something that has the Federal Reserve concerned. They're looking at inflation, and inflation is starting to uptick again. Okay, now, purchasing power. This is very important. This 3.5% inflation rate in March surpasses the current year's COLA of 3.2%, causing a loss in purchasing power for Social Security beneficiaries. Okay, loss in purchasing power. This is big because I talked about this. If you guys don't remember, when we were talking about the COLA increase back in October, I gave you guys the numbers. It was announced. It was 3.2%. And what did I say at that time? I said, look, let's hope that the CPI numbers, let's hope that inflation in 2024 stays well below 3.2%. Now, that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing it actually go up above 3.2%. So if it's at 3.5%, that means that the money that you have today from that COLA increase in 2024, so that 3.2% increase, that money is less than the current inflation at 3.5%. Okay, so this is what we feared. We didn't want to see this. Now, the hope is that it will go back down. If it doesn't, the Federal Reserve, they have to make a serious decision on maybe raising interest rates again. They're not talking about that. They're actually talking about cutting interest rates. That's what they want to do. But if inflation is stubborn and it continues to go up, they're going to have to do something drastic. And that might mean that they're going to have to raise interest rates again, which would be, it's something that they would do to cool off the economy. But we would be looking at, we'd be looking at interest rates now. Right now, they're what, 6, 7, 8%. It might even go into close to 10% or at 10%. So we don't want that, but we have to look at the current situation when it comes to inflation, and it is being very stubborn. It's not continuing to go down. The Federal Reserve wants inflation around 2%. And so we're far off. We need to, something needs to be done in order to get it down that low. Okay, so getting back to the illustration here, it says the predicted 2.6 COLA increase in 2025 is an improvement from an earlier estimate of 1.8. Now, I reported on this. I told you guys, look, it's 1.8. That's what they're projecting right now for COLA, and that was about a month ago. But still falls short of the 3.2% increase received in 2024. Okay, so we're still under the 3.2%, but it is increasing. It increased from 1.8% to 2.6%. Now, if inflation continues to rise, then that means that that projection from the Senior Citizens League will also rise with that. Okay, so the projections will go up, but we don't want that. And when it comes down to it, you don't want inflation to continue to rise. You want inflation to go down. Even if that means that the COLA increase won't be as much, you just want the COLA increase to be above what the current inflation is, or the inflation for that year. That's what you want. That should be what you're looking for. Okay, COLA amount in 2025. With the average retired worker benefit at $1,910.79 per month, a 2.6% increase would add approximately $49.68. Not much. And so that's what we're looking at. And people were looking at the same, $50. We were talking about what? I think it was like $50 or $57 would be the average overall increase when we saw the 3.2% for this year. And so next year it's going to be pretty similar, right? It's going to be around $50 increase on average. People on average receiving Social Security benefits would get about a $50 increase. Okay, so now let's talk about the announcement date. Okay, the official COLA will be determined after the third quarter inflation data available in mid-October. Beneficiaries are advised to budget carefully and consider earning additional income. And so they're being blunt here. They're saying, look, you might need to get another, get some type of part-time job or something like that just in order to keep up, because inflation, this COLA is not going to, on its own, it's probably not going to help that much when it comes to your current living expenses. Now, the third quarter, what we're talking about July, August, and September. They're taking those 3 months. They're using the CPIW. Okay, so they're not using the regular overall CPI. They're using the CPIW, and that's for wage earners and clerical staff. Now, they're continuing to use this. They really need to be using the CPIE, so the CPI for the elderly, but the calculation they use now is the CPIW. So that is what we're looking at when it comes to COLA currently, 2.6%. That is the projection. That doesn't mean that's what we're going to see, but the Senior Citizens League, they do a pretty good job of their projections. Last year, their projections were pretty close. I don't know if it was right on the number, but it was very, very close. And when it realistically comes September, we'll have a good idea of what COLA is going to look like, and we'll only have one, so we'll just be waiting for that information to come in October. So the second week generally of October is when that information will come out. So if you guys have any questions about anything we talked about today, make sure you leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.